How's it, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video, and welcome to the head-to-head or the side-by-side comparison, or just my thoughts about these two mowers. What have we got here? We've got two beastly machines here today, guys, and we are going to look at the primary differences, head-to-head, who's the winner, who's the whatever. We've got the Toro Greensmaster 1000 all the way from America against our professional slash Rolux cylinder slash reel mower. Okay, hold on, let me fix that. Cylinder.
Real mower. Real mower. This is my real accent. This is definitely not an AI-generated accent.
Now, the first thing I just want to mention is clearly this thing says Greensmaster, and that one might as well have said Yardmaster. So these things are not really built for the same purpose. Just keep that in mind through this video. Oh wow, it's afternoon. Can you believe that? So let's just ignore the fact that it's about a half a day later and that I've got about 40 gigabytes of footage without sound. Yeah, lekker, technical difficulties. But here I am, shooting the things for the second time. If that's not worth a subscribe, I don't know what is. Let's continue. All right, now I'll have to keep focused because this machine was just here this morning, all the time. Right, guys, so let's jump into the differences. The first thing I'm going to start with the front of the mowers is the front rollers. So this one comes with a grooved front roller, which is kind of tiny. It's probably 30-40 mils. And this one comes with a smooth roller with the option of a grooved roller. This is probably closer to 60 mil or 70 mil. I don't know the exact diameters. The very next thing we're going to look at is the blade. So this one has got quite a thin blade, in my opinion. It's 11 blade cylinder slash reel blade. Okay, it's quite thin, but arguably a little bit more precise. This one comes with a thicker blade, probably more durable. I think that's the only reason why they did this. This thing is not meant at all to cut stones, to ding, to whatever, whereas this thing is also not meant to do it, but probably can tolerate a bit of it. Wat sien like jy? Daai een of hierdie een? Daai een, okay, he likes the Toro. Yeah, he loves lawnmowers. Sorry to interrupt the video again, guys. I just want to show you the update of my little boy here. I know I made a video of me and him cutting the putting green about a year back. Kom hier so, Yosha. He was obviously born with a bilateral cleft flip and pallet, so he's been through 3 hectic operations, but he's looking like him now. Huh? Yeah, so I just want to say thank you so much to all the messages and support from you guys' side. I really appreciate that. Yeah, guys, so I'm going to start these mowers up and we're going to go for a test pass. I'm going to pretend like I didn't do it this morning, and then I'm going to show you the results of these machines mowing actual Kentucky bluegrass. Right, guys, so these middle 4 stripes here, like this one, that one, that one, and that one, is this morning's passes. That was the Rolux Professional, and that was the Toro, okay? So let's look at the results. So the results of this morning isn't as good as this afternoon, and the reason for that is this morning the dew was a little bit on the grass leaf blade, so it makes it even like worse to cut. It kind of sticks more toward against each other and so on. But we can clearly see, and it's obvious, guys, I'll show you a close-up right now, that the Rolux gives a much better cut, and the only reason for that is due to the number of blades, the spacing between the blades. Because it's a 9 blade, the spacing is bigger. So if you've got an 11 blade like the Toro, the spacing is smaller. So that performs a lot better on shorter cut turf, like putting greens, which the machine is designed for. On the higher cut turf, a 9 or a 6 blade is going to do much better, and that's why the results are better on this piece of grass. I'm mowing at about 11, 12, 13 mils. I didn't measure, but that's roughly where we're sitting at. And the result is much better on the Rolux Professional. Have a look at this clean cut, guys, from just right now. So literally, I've got the furthest zoom that I can possibly get. Only a few stragglers over the entire length. Compared to the Toro Pass now, has got way more uncut grass. Right guys, so the cut quality is almost unnoticeable. I will definitely say, however, over the past experience, the 9 blade compared to the 11 blade reel, the Toro just performs better on putting greens than the Professional or Rolux. However, I've never had a Professional or Rolux with the 11 blade to really compare the two on the putting green. The one thing I will say is, with a rubberized ribbed rear roller compared to the smooth roller of the Toro, it's not ideal to turn on putting greens. It's got its benefits obviously of grip, but it's not ideal to turn on putting greens with that ribbed rubberized rear roller.
Now both of these machines are heavy, but you can see that the Toro pushes and pulls back so much more difficult than the Rolux Professional, and that becomes a bit of an issue on tight and twisty and also slopey yards.
Right guys, and the next few subjects we're going to talk about is where the similarities will stop. This is where the differences in the machines come in. So let's talk about height of cut settings. So on the Rolux Professional cylinder slash
Real mower.
we've got one knob to adjust the entire height of cut. So you turn this thing clockwise to increase the height of cut, or you turn it anti-clockwise to decrease the height of cut. And then on the other side, it's got a sticker indicating, I wouldn't say it's precise, but it gives you a very good indication of how high you're cutting. So here's that sticker that I'm talking about, and then this bar that's attached to the front roller obviously goes up and down as the height adjusts, and then it indicates on the sticker type thing more or less how high you're cutting. So on the Toro, two noticeable things. Firstly, we've got a height adjustment here, and on the other side of the reel we've got a height adjuster here. The other thing we need to notice is that this thing is not hand twistable. You can, if it's very loose, then you can twist it with your hand, but not advisable. You want to loosen this, set it to your height, and then tighten it again from the side, and do the same on the other side. What this means is you'll have to tip the mower onto its back, set it almost upside down like this, so that you can use your height of cut bar to get an accurate measurement on either side of the blade to exactly the height that you want to mow at. Now all of this setting is not such a big deal. It only takes a few minutes to do that, unless you're like me, who's got a putting green, who's got a cool season lawn, and 2 sections of warm season lawn, which is sometimes mowed at 4 different heights. Then this thing becomes so much more sensible to pull out of the storeroom to get mowing, because it just changes the height of cut so much easier. The one thing I will say though is setting this thing to a certain height and setting this thing to a certain height, especially like keeping in mind that I've got a putting green, is so lacquer. So I keep this at 5 mils, and I know that always when I pull out this machine, it's ready to go and mow the green. All right guys, let's look at the Professional Rolux bottom blade here. Also quite a bit thicker compared to the Toro bottom blade here. Once again, probably a little bit more precise, but thicker, guys. When you're mowing into stones, mowing an average yard, this thing would probably be a little bit more resilient to dings and bendage and whatever the standard things as you pick up when you mow through stones and different yard terrains, twigs and those type of things. Right, let's look at the chassis for a second, and the setup of where the engines are on these machines and what that means, the heavier weights. I think this thing is about 80 kgs, the Professional Rolux one, and the Toro is roughly 100 kilograms. So this is the exact side profile of the Rolux Professional cylinder mower, and just keep in mind where that front roller is compared to where the engine is. Now the Toro, just look at how much closer the front roller is to the engine. And the result of that is that On the Toro, you get a much more balanced machine. It almost feels like you just stick it into drive and this thing will balance itself. You kind of just got to steer it to go as straight as possible. Whereas on the Professional, you get a much more pivoty feel. You almost feel like you have to help the handle up to keep the nose down. That's just the feel of it. So this thing, it feels like you've got to kind of push it down when making a turn. Whereas this one just feels a lot more pivoty. There's not a huge difference, but it just feels lighter to the pivot, if you get what I'm saying. Now, once again, mowing in long straight lines, the Toro would probably be much better because it just gives you that solid feel and that thing just sits so true to the ground. But on the flip side, I think the Rolux Professional cylinder / reel mower is going to be so much better in tight twisty yards because it just pivots and turns so much easier, guys. It's effortless. Okay, and let's talk about effortlessness. This one has got a clutch that engages when you throttle up. Once again, no levers attached. On the flip side, the Toro has got a lever right here to engage
reel.
So this one you can kind of travel around with without spinning the reel. Whereas on the flip side, this one, as soon as you rev it up and you pull the clutch, in fact, if you just rev it up, the reel starts spinning. So if we look at the handlebar of the Toro, we see that that red lever right there is the brake lever. So when you pull that up, it brakes the entire machine. And that lever right there is to engage the drive. And this lever right here is just the throttle revving up. On the flip side, the Professional / Rolux does everything for you. Mine has got a twist throttle right here, but I know some of the older Professional versions, it's got like a thumb throttle that you just click forward. And then it's got a drive clutch. So it revs up, reel starts spinning, and then you use this to start the drive of the machine. Right, so let's look at the cutting procedure. So firstly, you want to disengage the brake, then you want to engage the reel, and then you want to engage the drive. Right, let's look at the cutting procedure of the Professional. Literally just pulling the clutch. So guys, I think it would be enormously unfair of me to choose a winner here, because really everything that I've just said now leads to this conclusion. It depends what your purpose is. That'll depend which mower you will choose or what type of mower you'll choose. I'm not even talking about Rolux Professional in particular. I'm not even talking about Toro in particular. I'm talking about a yard machine that is built to last quite a long time against a very precise greens machine. Yep guys, so that's my conclusion. If you want to geek out, you want to spend 10-15 minutes setting up your machine every time before you mow, you might want to look at a greens machine that's got a lot of adjustable knobs and things. If you're not 100% sure what you're doing, or you're getting into reel mowing and you want something that's very reliable and robust, that can take a little bit of a beating even for a cylinder mower or a reel mower standard, then you might want to look at something like the Rolux Professional cylinder /
reel mower.
That's it. Guys, and on that note, I want to thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. If not, no worries. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye-bye.